Well, among the many celebrities affected by the Boston bombing was an Olympic gold medal winner, Summer Sanders, who actually ran in the Boston Marathon, and she joins us tonight on the phone from Park City, Utah. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, Summer.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me, obviously, with a extremely heavy heart. Being a part of yesterday started out so magical, and I will never forget it for many reasons, but I do have to say the 27,000 of us that started as a family, and we were held together by these huge hugs from the whole city of Boston that cheered us on. And I feel like now all of those runners and everybody around are hugging the city itself and everyone who was affected by yesterday.
And we always talk about that in times like this, how heartening it is, how everybody just comes together so quickly and amazingly. And I'd like you to take me back to the time after you finished the marathon. You had just finished it about an hour before when you heard the bombs going off. You were already back in your hotel room. What happened next?
It wasn't actually an hour. I mean, when I time it, I crossed the finish line at 3:37, and then I went to the medical tent for a little while, and I probably left there about like maybe 20 minutes after that. So I literally had just walked into our hotel room, which was the Lenox Hotel, which was right across the street from the first blast. And when I heard it, and I mean, when you hear something like that, you immediately think you know what it is, but you don't want to believe that that's what it is. And we all freaked out. We could feel it. The windows were shaking. And then about 20 seconds later, we heard the other blast, and we saw it out our window. And that's when we saw people just running in the other direction. And we looked out the window, and we just saw this mass exodus from the finish itself of just people running and walking away. And still, we didn't know exactly what was going on. But that's the scariest position I've ever been in my life. And yet I felt for everyone who was out there on the street.
Yeah, I have to imagine how frightening it must have been. You hear these sounds, these explosions, you see people fleeing, and of course there's that great unknown, what may be next to happen. Were you worried at all about your own safety at that point?
I think when you're in that position, you either want to help and be active in helping those people and the people that are injured, or if you're a parent, which I am, you just want to get yourself home to your kids. And that's the first thing I thought of, is I said, we got to get out of here. We have to get out of here. We were on the 9th floor of the hotel that was right across from both of those blasts. And so we called downstairs and said, can we leave? And they said, no, the police have locked down this hotel. No one can leave. So we sat in our room and we watched on TV, and we were worried. And then we had an alarm and a siren, and the police knocking on our door saying, everyone evacuate immediately. So now you're walking down the stairs, and you're trying to hold it together and not think the worst. But I was extremely frightened, and my mom was behind me, and she just kept saying to me, it's not our time. It's not our time. So we made the 9 floors down and walked out with the rest of everyone else that was on the street that we didn't know where to go, just sort of walking around, and it's kind of an out-of-body experience. It's a bit of a shock.
Well, I must tell you, I could feel your emotions running high from your tweets yesterday after hearing that people were killed and injured. And I also read how you were, like everybody, so affected by the little boy who was killed, 8-year-old Martin Richard. I know, as you mentioned, your mom yourself. So what was going through your mind as far as that motherly instinct?
There were several things that were going through my mind, and first being how much the city of Boston and all the surrounding cities that embraced us during our run, and how, yes, we were running for our goal of crossing the finish line, but it was every single person out there that was supporting us and cheering us on and handing us gummy bears and orange slices. And a lot of those people that were handing us were these little hands of young children that just wanted to be a part of this marathon. And when you took their glass of water or their orange, it made their day. And so I thought of that moment, and of course I thought of my own children and how everyone had asked me, are your kids coming to the marathon? And I didn't bring them with me. And it was at that moment when I said, I'm so glad my children aren't here. but I wanted so badly to get home to them and give them a hug. That was the highest priority of all. But
Well,
my heart absolutely goes out to the parents of that young boy and his sister and all of the people who were affected and injured by yesterday's tragedy. It is senseless and awful. But I want people to remember that something good should come of this.
Yeah.
And I like that how all of the running community is banding together to run for Boston. And I hope not to be scared. I hope not to live in fear and be worried about where it's going to happen next. I want to make sure that this senseless act and the people who did this know that they didn't win, and we will run again.
Well, in Summer, like everybody else, I know you'll be holding your family that much closer. I do so appreciate your sharing your experience with us. Summer Sanders, thanks so much.